And the next day, Lisa invited Ayla to tea. She prepared a selection of pretty, sweet desserts that a little girl would love. They were precious foods that Lisa had not been able to eat often due to the Baron's difficult circumstances. Eat a lot, Ayla. Thank you, miss. Lisa watched Ayla devour the cake with her small mouth, chewing it with gusto. She was so proud of herself for watching her eat so well, without spilling a drop. Then it suddenly occurred to him that he might not have much time left to call her by her name. When the Duke of Weishafen himself came and confirmed that Ayla was his daughter, then he would have to call her princess. Then, Lisa felt alone, thinking that he would no longer associate with her. After all, she was just a poor baron's daughter. It was a miracle how this girl, who had been a commoner until recently, had acquired such table manners. The way she wiped her mouth with a napkin was so elegant. Of course, it was because she was raised by Byron, who hated food not being eaten cleanly, but Lisa, who had no way of knowing such circumstances, thought, they really are born different. Excuse me, is there anything you want to tell me? Oh, that's true. Lisa felt a little embarrassed that she had been watching Ayla so closely. What would it be like if you found your biological parents? My biological parents? Ayla deflected the question, as if it were a completely unexpected topic. I had actually been waiting for Lisa to mention it. Yeah. What would you think if I told you that your biological parents were desperately looking for you? Well, wouldn't that be really nice? Ayla smiled shyly, her cheeks blushing slightly. At the very least, this feeling was genuine. Hadn't he endured a year of hardship to see his parents? Yes, you would be very happy. But what if you met your parents and ended up living a completely different life than the one you led? A completely different life? Yes, for example, if your parents are nobles and you become the daughter of a nobleman. Lisa raised the topic very cautiously, worried that Ayla would find it strange. Oh, what? So, if that's the case. As Ayla pretended not to know anything and waved her hand, Lisa gave a nervous, breathless laugh and asked, if only I could become a noble lady. She could be your friend, right? It would be wonderful. Ayla responded with a smile. It wasn't pretense, it was his true feelings. How wonderful it was to be able to talk to Lisa like before. And Lisa's eyes seemed to redden for no reason at that response. Do you really believe that? Clear. If Ayla was really the daughter of the Duke of Weishafen, she knew they could never be friends on equal terms. Lisa was really happy just knowing that Ayla thought the same. Baron Herzig and his wife watched Ayla, who was wearing Lisa's best clothes. Although the owner of the dress had only worn it a few times, except at important banquets, Lisa was willing to give up her favorite dress. She was going to meet the Duke, who could be her biological father, and she wanted to make sure she looked pretty. Even if it was a modest dress by the standards of a wealthy Duke's family. She looked quite pretty even in tattered clothes, but dressed like this, she looked like a noblewoman's daughter. How was it after talking to you? Do you think he can handle it? Yes. She's young, but she seems much more mature than me. Whatever the outcome of our meeting today, I think you'll endure it. At her father's question, Lisa nodded. The woman looked at the other sternly and, without saying who would start, both burst into laughter. It was curious how Ayla was going to meet who could be her biological father, but the Baron and Lisa seemed even more nervous. And then the mansion's concierge came to inform them that the Duke of Weishafen would be arriving soon. Then, I'll go pick it up. Yes, father. The Baron gently patted his daughter's shoulder and walked to the castle gate to greet the Duke of Weishafen. Perhaps in a hurry, Roderick was on horseback, not in a carriage. Accompanied only by a few knights, he had arrived after a day and night of riding. Your Excellency, how difficult it has been for you to come to this humble place. I'm Barnet, of the Herzig family. I'm Roderick Weishafen. My daughter is here, and what a journey this has been. Will I be afraid of hellfire? Roderick, who had nimbly jumped off his horse, greeted him. Although at first glance he may have seemed abrupt, his attitude did not reflect contempt or arrogance. I'm sure he would like to meet her soon. This way, Your Excellency. Thank you. Roderick didn't even have time to shake the wind off his coat before heading straight to the room where Ayla was waiting for him. He wondered if she was really his daughter. I wanted to see her soon. And then, when Ayla appeared before his eyes, Roderick knew. This girl was undoubtedly the daughter he and Ophelia had been looking for. It was exactly like the painting of Winfred that he had seen so many times. A face shape and neckline identical to Ophelia's, and eyes identical to her own cold gaze. It couldn't not be Ayla, whom he longed for even in his dreams. The Baron and Lisa felt uneasy as they watched Roderick, frozen in place with a blank expression on his face. They wondered if, contrary to their expectations, Ayla might not be their biological daughter. But Ayla could see the unspeakable regret and longing swirling behind Roderick's cold gaze. And she suppressed similar emotions that overwhelmed her. Because that's how it had to be. It was impossible to express the complex feelings of being reunited with the father he had murdered with his own hands in a place with so many people watching. Roderick, paralyzed for a moment, took a vigorous step towards his daughter. His first steps were heavy and frantic, but he soon quickened his pace. In the end, Roderick arrived in front of her, almost running. She hugged her daughter tightly. In his wide, warm chest. Ayla, Ayla, our daughter. Although he didn't say much, Roderick's words sounded exactly like that in Ayla's ears. As if to console her by saying, you must have had difficulties getting here. It was the voice that called her, but more than anything, what made her happy and sad, was none other than the strong beating of a heart that could be heard in Ayla's ears. I'm alive. The fact that his father was alive and well. That fact finally made Ayla cry. The emotions he had barely managed to suppress burst into tears. The joy of returning safely to his father's embrace, the deep regret and guilt for the sins he committed in his past life. A feeling of relief at no longer having to fight alone. How much must Ayla have cried in her father's arms? A cough coming from somewhere brought Roderick and Ayla back to reality. The Baron, who was secretly wiping away his tears as he watched the touching moment of the father-daughter reunion, accidentally coughed. I'm sorry, Your Excellency. It is. I think she's our daughter. If you don't mind. Oh, yes. Of course. When the Baron nodded to his daughter at the Duke's request, Lisa nodded and left the room with her father. His eyes were also red, as if he had silently shed tears. With only 2 men in the room, Roderick took out a rolled-up paper from his pocket. Its appearance, tied with a ribbon, was quite similar to the magic scroll he had used when he met Winfred. As he quietly murmured the incantation and untied the ribbon, a bright light spread in all directions, enveloping the space where the woman was. It's soundproofing magic. Now you can talk comfortably. Roderick also seemed worried that Byron's spies might be watching him. I have a lot of questions, but I'm sure your mother is curious, so let's talk about the details when we get home. Ophelia wanted to come see you, but it hasn't been long since the baby was born. Oh, I thought you heard about the baby. He spoke several times faster than usual, as he had to finish his story quickly while the magic was still in effect. Ayla nodded, her eyes wide and her nose red. The Roderick he remembered was always reserved, so this appearance was unfamiliar to him. Yes, Winfred told me. It felt a little strange to call the crown prince of a country by his name as if he were the neighbor's son, but Roderick didn't show it and just stroked his daughter's head. Yes. I hope you don't mind that your mother didn't come with me. Ophelia really wanted to come. No. I'm not upset at all. She knew it. If Ophelia could have come, she would have come with Roderick. In their last life, they had come together. I want to go quickly to see my mother and my little brother. My little brother. He felt a tingle on the tip of his tongue as he heard the word he was saying for the first time in his life. Yes, let's go back quickly, home. Every word his father spoke filled his heart with a soft chill. Home. Yes, I was going to come home. It was a long trip.